You also get the window palette, which is quite useful in order, for example, navigate your whole project. You can also do this by using the navigator, something we're gonna talk about in the next lessons. But you can also use, for example, window, navigate, and click in stories, selecting your story, or you can, for example, navigate sections, elevations, 3D documents, or 3D models. You can, for example, close some open tabs you have for other views in your project. You got options like, for example, full screen, or something quite useful, which I call the presentation mode for ArchiCad. You can click, for example, this option, hide palettes and toolbars. What this basically does, it will disable the whole interface for your project, and it will give you a bigger presentation area, which is quite useful if you want to, for example, present your project inside ArchiCad without any external other tools. So you can, for example, click Window, Show Palettes and Toolbars, or Hide Palettes and Toolbars in order to activate the presentation mode for ArchiCad. You can also use, for example, window toolbars in order to activate many other useful toolbars. For example, the map toolbars, which is something that we're gonna be using in the near future, which has all the map tools we can, for example, use. You got toolbars, for example, the attributes toolbar, which gives you the ability to basically activate any option you find in the element attributes panel, but by using these icons. Besides toolbars, you also got specific palettes which you can activate in order to use specific options, like, for example, if you want to paint your model a little bit faster, for example, you got palettes like the Surface Painter, which works similarly like in SketchUp, for example, where you can select any surface, you just click over here and you click any element and paint it much faster. Now, this is one example of quite useful palettes that ArchiCad has to offer, but you always can check out the palettes options, the palette sections, in order to find many useful palettes. If I remember well, something quite useful is, for example, quick layers, which gives you the ability to isolate layers or to hide specific layers much faster, or, for example, undo changes for specifically talking the layers. But in general, you can find many palettes which give you great options and great functions. And lastly, we got the help options, which give you many resources you can review in order to learn ArchiCad. For example, you can hover over here the online resources options, and you get, for example, ArchiCad downloads, which are some sample projects. You can also click over here if you want to review the YouTube channel for ArchiCad. And something quite useful is the ArchiCad reference guide. For example, let's click over here and you will get, for example, this, which is quite useful in order to learn specific functions about ArchiCad. For example, you can click over here in order to search a specific function. Let's say you want to learn a little bit more about the use of surfaces. Let's just type in surface and see what it will give us. And for example, we got options like the overhead surface with Surface Painter, the options whenever we want to render our project with the use of the Cinema surface channels, and many other options ArchiCad has related to the topic of surfaces. So keep in mind that ArchiCad has quite a few resources you can also review in order to improve your learning experience. So having said that, as usual, take 1 or 2 minutes to review some of these options, and in the next lessons we're gonna be covering now a little bit about the whole interface that ArchiCad has.